You know, uh, you know what's really weird? Like genuinely strange when you stop and actually think about it. I want you to go to a parking lot right now or tomorrow morning. Go to Target, go to your office building, go to, I don't know, the grocery store, and just look. Stand there and really look. What do you see? You see an ocean of metal, but not just metal. You see rows and rows of gleaming, massive, oversized SUVs, trucks that are perfectly waxed, lifted 6 inches off the ground, tires that have never touched dirt in their entire existence. You see electric vehicles that look like spaceships with screens inside that are bigger than the television I grew up watching cartoons on, and everyone looks normal, right? It looks like success. It looks like the American dream. But if you put on a different pair of glasses, if you put on the glasses that show you the math behind the metal, the picture changes. Instantly. Suddenly you don't see cars. You see shackles, you see handcuffs, you see monthly payments of $700, $800, maybe $1,000. $1,000 every single month. Bleeding out of checking accounts, going straight to a bank that is betting against you, but then way in the back. Usually parked far away so nobody dings it. Or maybe parked right up front because the driver just doesn't care anymore. You see it. The anomaly. A 2009 Toyota Corolla. Maybe a Camry. Maybe an old Honda Civic with that, that specific sun damage on the paint? Where the clear coat is peeling off the roof like sunburned skin? Yeah, that one. The headlights are a little foggy. There's a dent in the rear bumper from, who knows, 2014. And your brain. The brain that has been programmed by 50 years of marketing. Your brain immediately goes, oh man, that guy, that poor guy, he must be struggling. He must be going through a hard time. But here's the secret. The dirty, absolute secret that the entire automotive industry, the banks and the leasing companies are terrified you will figure out. That person driving the 15-year-old Toyota, they aren't the ones struggling. They aren't the ones losing sleep at 3 a.m., in that entire parking lot filled with six-figure SUVs and luxury sedans, that guy in the beater, he is likely the only person there who is actually free. He is the only one who could walk into his boss's office tomorrow and quit. He is the only one who owns his time. Everyone else, they are just driving their jail cells to work. My name is Bill Broke, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the system is rigged to keep you poor, and how your own psychology is the weapon they use against you. If you're tired of pretending to be rich while you're actually drowning in debt, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's get into the therapy. So why does that old car make us feel so uncomfortable? Why do you feel that knot in your stomach when you pull up to a valley in an older car, or when you go on a first date? It's status anxiety. That's the clinical term. But let's call it what it really is. It's fear. It is the visceral fear of being left behind. We have been trained, like literally Pavlovian trained, to view our vehicle not as a machine that moves us from point A to point B, but as a mask. A mask we wear to tell the world, I am safe, I am successful, I am part of the tribe. Because in our lizard brains, if you aren't part of the tribe, you die. And in 2026, the tribe drives a leased BMW. But we have to go back. We have to look at the history of this brainwashing. Picture this. It's, I don't know, 1983. I'm 10 years old. I'm sitting in the back of my dad's car. It was this ugly, boxy thing. Maybe an Oldsmobile? Or a Ford? It smelled like old upholstery and maybe a little bit of burnt oil. The windows were manual. You had to crank them. And nobody cared. Nobody looked at my dad and thought he was failing because his car was 5 years old. Back then, the formula was intact. You remember the formula, right? You work hard. You stay loyal to the company. The company stays loyal to you. You get a pension. You save your money in a bank that actually pays you interest. Remember interest? Real interest? And you buy a car and you drive it until the wheels fall off. That was the deal. The car was a tool, like a hammer, like a refrigerator. You don't buy a new refrigerator every 3 years just because a new model has a screen on the door, do you? Well, maybe now you do. That's a part of the problem. But then, flash forward, 1995, 2000, the leasing craze hits. Suddenly the goal wasn't to own the car. The goal was to make the payment fit. How much payment can you afford? Became the only question that mattered. And we took the bait. We started renting our lifestyle. And then 2008 happened. The great betrayal. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's the pivotal moment for our generation. It's the moment the formula died. You followed the rules. You had the golden handcuffs. You had the nice house, the nice car, the 401k. And in the span of a few weeks, you watched it all burn. You watched your home value crater. You watched your retirement account get cut in half. And here's the kicker. You were still on the hook for that $600 car payment. You were still on the hook for the lease on the German SUV that was now worth half of what you owed on it. That moment broke us. It broke our trust. It taught us that stuff can be repossessed. It taught us that your job doesn't love you. It taught us that the bank is not your friend. And for a specific group of people, the financial survivalists, it triggered a defensive mechanism. Defensive pessimism. We realized that if the system can crash at any moment, why am I paying a premium to impress it? Why am I financing a liability? Driving that 15-year-old Toyota isn't about being cheap. It's not about being frugal. It is an act of rebellion. It is a giant middle finger to a system that wants you to be fragile, because a paid-off car represents the one thing they can't take away from you. Control. Let's walk through the trap, because I know you feel it. You're driving your old car. Maybe the AC is a little weak. Maybe the Bluetooth is, non-existent. You're using one of those little dongles, and you have a bad day at work. Your boss yells at you. You feel small, and you drive past the dealership, and there it is. The new model. It's shiny. It's aggressive. It has that new car smell, which is literally, just off gas and glue and plastic. But to us, it smells like success. You walk in. The air conditioning is freezing cold. They offer you a coffee. A guy named Brad in a slightly too tight suit sits you down, and he plays the game. He doesn't ask you the price. He asks, "What payment are you looking for?" Do not answer that question. That question is a trapdoor. But let's say you do. You trade in your faithful old Toyota. They give you peanuts for it, and you sign. $45,000 for a new SUV. No, but you don't have $45,000, so you finance it. 72 months? Maybe 84 months? 7 years. 7 years of your future labor pledged to this machine. Your payment is $750 a month. But that's not the real cost, is it? Let's do the red pill math, the math that makes you sick. $750 a month. Now add the full coverage insurance the bank requires because you don't actually own the car. That's another $150. Now add the registration fees, which are higher on a new car. Now add the stress, the psychological cost. The first time you park that $45,000 car at the grocery store, you are terrified. Some kid opens his door and ding, a scratch, and your heart sinks. You just lost value. You're a slave to the paint job. Now, let's look at the opportunity cost. Let's say you kept the Toyota. Let's say you fixed the AC for $500. You bought a nice detail job for $200. And you took that $750 a month and you invested it. You put it in a boring, soulless S&P 500 index fund. You did that for the same 6 years you would have been paying the loan, at a conservative 7% return. Do you know what you have? You have almost $65,000. $65,000. That is not just a number on a screen. I need you to visualize what that money actually is. $65,000 is... It's 2 years of living expenses if you lose your job. It's the down payment on a rental property that pays you for the rest of your life. It is the ability to look at your toxic boss when he tells you to work on the weekend and say, no. It is walking away money. When you sign those papers for the new car, you aren't buying a vehicle. You are selling your freedom, you're selling your options. You're voluntarily putting on the handcuffs because they are shiny. And for what? To impress the guy at the red light? He doesn't care about you. He's too busy worrying about his own $800 payment. So this requires a shift, a deep internal shift in how you see yourself. The world wants you to be a consumer that eats value. A consumer buys things that go to zero. A consumer is fragile. If a consumer loses their job, the repo man comes in 90 days. You need to become a financial survivalist, or maybe a value architect. The person in the 15-year-old Toyota, they look at a car and they see a utility. They see a tool. They realize that the most expensive miles you can ever drive are the first 50,000 miles of a car's life. That is where the depreciation cliff is. The survivalist lets someone else take that hit. Let the guy who needs the status symbol pay the $20,000 depreciation tax. You pick it up when it's just a machine, when it's just transportation. This isn't about being broke. I know millionaires, legitimate liquid millionaires, who drive 2010 Hondas. Why? Because they know the game is rigged. They know that wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the money you didn't spend on the grill badge. Wealth is the compounding interest happening in the background while you drive your beater to a job you actually like because you don't have to be there. And there is a peace in it. There really is. When you drive a car that is fully depreciated, you are invisible. In a good way, you park anywhere. You don't worry about theft as much. You don't worry about the miles. You just drive. It becomes just a car again. And suddenly your identity isn't tied to a piece of metal. Your identity is tied to your bank account, your freedom, your time, your family, the things that actually matter. Okay, Bill, I get it. The math works. But it's hard, right? It's hard when your friends are upgrading. It's hard when your car makes a weird noise. So here are the habits. The practical, actionable steps to stay the course. Habit number 1, the psychological mechanic. You don't have to be a mechanic. I don't know how to change a transmission. I barely know how to change my oil, but you have to stop fearing the repair. The industry thrives on your fear of the check engine light. They tell you, oh, it's out of warranty and better get a new one. You don't want to get stranded. This is fear-mongering. Let's look at the math again. Let's say your Toyota needs a new transmission. That's a bad day. That's like $3,000 or $4,000. And you think, the car is only worth $5,000? Why would I spend $4,000 to fix it? Wrong question. The question is $4,000 cheaper than a year of car payments? Yes. $4,000 is about 5 months of a new car payment, if that repair keeps you on the road for another 2 years. You just saved yourself $15,000 in payments. Stop optimizing for the value of the car. Start optimizing for your cash flow. Fix the car. Keep the cash. Habit number 2, the 24-hour emotional quarantine. This is for when you get the itch. You know the itch. You're bored. You're stressed. You feel unappreciated. And you start scrolling Auto Trader, Car Gurus. Just looking, you say. You're not just looking. You're feeding the beast. You're letting the Z-row effect creep in. When you feel the urge to upgrade, you enforce a mandatory 24-hour quarantine. Close the tab. Walk away. Tell yourself, if I still want this desperately in 24 hours, I will think about it. Spoiler alert, you won't. The dopamine spike will crash, and you will wake up the next morning, look at your bank account, and breathe a sigh of relief that you didn't sign your life away at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Habit number 3, invest in the inalienable, the Gen X secret. This is the one I saw in the comments, and it is brilliant. Gen X figured this out. They don't trust stuff. Stuff breaks. Stuff gets repossessed. So what do they do with the money they save on the car? They spend it on experiences. They buy the concert tickets. They take the trip to Europe. They take the kids to the national park. Why? Because the bank can't foreclose on a memory. If the economy collapses tomorrow, if the dollar goes to zero, if the zombies come, nobody can reach into your brain and take away the memory of seeing Pearl Jam in 1994. Nobody can take away the memory of that road trip. That is an asset that is truly yours. It is inflation-proof. It is recession-proof. So drive the beater. And use the money to build a life that is actually worth remembering, not just a garage that looks nice to the neighbors. Habit number 4, redundancy by design. This is a quick one, but it matters. Keep paper records. If you own that car, keep the title. Physical. Keep the maintenance records, paper. In a world where everything is digital, where you don't even really own the software in your new car, did you know that? New cars can lock you out of features if you don't pay subscriptions. Having a physical mechanical machine and the paper title that proves it is yours, and that is safety. That is redundancy. That is looking at the system and saying, you can't turn me off. Look, I know it's not sexy. I know nobody makes rap videos about a 2009 Camry. I know your mother-in-law might make a comment about your old car. Let her talk. She's probably financing her couch. This isn't about the car. It never was. It is about defense. It is about building a fortress around your life so that when the world goes crazy, and it always goes crazy, you are safe. You are the one who doesn't panic. You are the one who sleeps at night. Because you know that you own your life. The bank doesn't own your commute. The bank doesn't own your Tuesday morning. You do. So next time you walk out to that parking lot, and you see your old, faded, dented, beautiful machine sitting there, don't feel shame, feel pride. Pat it on the dashboard. Say thank you. Because that machine is your freedom. That machine is your rebellion. Drive it until the wheels fall off. And then put the wheels back on and drive it some more. My name is Bill Broke. If this video hit a nerve, if you're driving a Legend from 2005, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you're driving and how many miles are on it. Let's normalize the rebellion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay free.